Hey guys, red and black greetings. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro-Negro channel. If you're just arriving, I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below, turn on the notification bell, and leave that awesome like on the video. We're here with plenty of Mango news for you. A lot is happening. We're doing our investigation together with Pilhado. Tiago Asmar is also helping us with this investigation, and we're bringing you a lot of information. Regarding Flamengo, especially since there was information about disagreements between BAP and the coaching staff, there was nothing about football. We're going to talk about all of this. There's always a lot of news coming out, and the way it comes out, it seems like there's a fight going on. Crisis, and we always bring you all these details. There's a crisis at Palmeiras. Things are really heating up. There's graffiti at Palmeiras. That's a real crisis. But at Flamengo, no. Flamengo is just having a debate about correcting their course. It's that simple. So we're here also thanking all our sponsors and reminding you that you can travel with Harolo's Caravan, travel with Mengao. It's there in the description and in the pinned comment, also in the pinned chat. The contact for the caravan. I'll also leave in the description and pinned comment the link to Flamengo's store in Orlando at São Rubro-Negro. Use it to make sure you get your product anywhere in the United States and Canada. The official Mango jersey is here, the authentic one plus the long sleeve. I layered the authentic over the long sleeve because it looks great. With the patches, there are patches full customization. At the Orlando store, you can get in touch. If you're on vacation in Florida, get your jersey right now. We're also here thanks to Mais Cabello, always reminding you that you can lose weight in a healthy way without hair loss. Using Mais Cabello's My Slim Weight Loss Program, Good Morning Flamengo plays today. We already brought you the game information early. Now we're here with some important information for you. Regarding the meeting at Ninho do Urubu, Flamengo's decisions about signings, departures, and everything else. We also have the matter of Lucas Paquetá here. The meeting that Flamengo had, the decision about the offer for Lucas Paquetá, so we looked into all of that here. Flamengo has really already made an offer for Lucas Paquetá, confirmed by a source close to the board. Now the offer for Lucas Paquetá is confirmed. And the offer is 35 million euros fixed plus 5 million in bonus incentives. As we've always been saying, there were people who tried to deny our information, tried to mention even higher amounts. The information we have is that this was the amount, that BAP wouldn't let it go over 40 million euros in this offer. It's obvious that Esram knows about Paquetá's interest in leaving the club and will also try to stand firm regarding when and for how much he'll let him go. But Flamengo has already stated the offer won't exceed 40 million euros. BAP had already said that was it. There was this meeting yesterday at Ninho do Urubu to settle all these matters about Paquetá, departures, and other signings. A Botafogo player is on their radar, which we'll discuss soon. In the meeting, Flamengo ended up deciding that they would send this official offer with the amounts that was sent yesterday. It was already late. Europe has a different time zone. And today, the Doram management received Flamengo's offer, and now Flamengo is waiting for Doram's response regarding the sale of Lucas Paquetá. It's a situation where there's unanimous agreement, and the meeting yesterday, which took place at Ninho do Urubu, had points of disagreement and points of agreement. So there's nothing really outrageous for us to talk about. What GLOBO Sports reported is that the early return of the main Rio team decided by BAP caused internal division. It caused discomfort among the coaching staff and the medical department who wanted to keep the young players and control the athletes' workload. That's not true. None of that happened. What BAP talked about was all a matter of planning. For example, he always leaves the decisions to the coaching staff and the football department. Why? He already said BAP, he stays out of decisions so he can hold others accountable when needed. And it was a decision where they didn't consider failure, where they didn't plan for failure. This is inside information. They didn't plan for failure. And the club understands that there are sponsors who wouldn't accept seeing Flamengo in the second division playing in a playoff, where you end up with 6 games and then you have 2 more games than you would in the season. You get 2 extra games in the season. It's even crazier than if you had qualified. The points that were raised having 2 extra games in the season. There's also the sponsor issue, who pays a lot to have Flamengo playing in the first division. Such a strong squad can't play a relegation playoff, so we have the issue of Flamengo knowing they would have extra games. And that the planning had to take failure into account as well. If you have a plan that already takes failure into account to do a certain thing, if that happens, it wouldn't have gotten to this point. That's it. There's no bad atmosphere here based on the information I have. The situation is happening, it's unfolding, and you have a meeting there to define the future, including the same information we have. Thiago Asmar did the collab with us here just now, right after we also released this information. Look.
The news given today by GE saying that BAP, the president of Flamengo, is not true.
One more that GE releases involving Flamengo, BAP. I put Felipe between a rock and a hard place. I've already told you that everything is done by consensus, a joint decision, and there are disagreements, guys. There are disagreements in the management. Obviously, one thinks you can't have 2 extra games. The others hadn't planned for a failure. So you know, okay, let's fix the defeat, wherever that is. Bad atmospheres like this report creates can cause crises, especially on the day of a classic match against Vasco.
It would be decided on his own to put the main squad to play against Vasco, and that this would have even bothered Flamengo's football department, okay? When I heard about this, I spoke with very influential people inside Flamengo who completely denied this to me. And they even said that BAP was surprised by the content of this report and that BAP's statement, I even wrote down here what they told me. It would be the following. It wouldn't make sense, no. I would never tell a coach who he should put on the field. I've never done it and I never will. That's not my role. That's what 2 very influential people at Flamengo told me. That BAP talked to people inside the club when he got access to that information. In other words, it's information that puts Flamengo's president in a delicate situation.
It doesn't put him in a delicate situation because it didn't happen. No, but the fans are with him.
He gets over it and doesn't. And with the 2 people I mentioned who have a lot,
I spoke with 2 as well. That's his speech.
He never interfered in the coach's lineup and never will, as it's not his role. And another thing, BAP's attitude makes this very clear. BAP hardly ever sets foot in the training center. BAP doesn't like to interfere.
Why, Thiago, did I tell you? Because he lets them solve things before making a decision, because he doesn't like to get involved. If they make a mistake, he can hold them accountable later. And he says that in interviews, and an article like this ends up causing a crisis on game day. But let's go on, continue.
He leaves it to Borto and Felipe Luis. So how do I investigate and follow up? I'm bringing here information that's completely the opposite, that the decision didn't come from BAP, but of course he takes institutional responsibility.
And yes, that's the president's role.
That's the information I have.
That's what I say. If anyone gets relegated to the 2nd division of the Carioca, it's Flamengo. It's Flamengo's jersey, and you know it has its sponsors. I even mentioned I'm wearing a long sleeve jersey under the authentic one. Here, look. This sponsor, the most expensive in the country, pays the most in Brazil and America. He doesn't want Flamengo in the 2nd division. It doesn't matter if it's the Carioca or if they used under 20s. It's still Flamengo's jersey. Do you think the guy who pays the biggest sponsorship in Brazil, in America, is going to accept a club he sponsors in Serie B? No, so it's a course correction. There's no crisis, fighting, war, vanity, or bad atmosphere here. BAP wanted to sign Felipe Luis, wanted to renew his contract, went crazy trying to renew with Felipe Luis because he insisted, why would there be people? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Well, let's take a look at the fans' comments. Look at Alexandra Sampafla, perfect. Dami, it's from the official media, not F7. The president made the right decision. So, a fan here, hey, Papa, what did you want? Bruno Cortes was eager to see the starting team play. No, that's not what I wanted. No, I don't want to see Flamengo in a bad situation. Ramon Leite, win these 2 games, then include them. The under-20 team could also face Sampaio Correa. Secure the spot and do that, Givaldo Andrade. It was decided, right? Gerton Amorim, Papa, what do you think? Look, man, I don't have the patience for fans' comments. Honestly, I'm not even going to read them because the guy thinks we're up to something. Most people support the decision, okay? But there are 1 or 2 who think I'm wrong, that I'm wrong to support this. We have to let it be. Flamengo getting relegated, are you kidding? What is the sponsor going to say and what are the others going to say before? It's Flamengo getting relegated, right? Flamengo has never been and never will be. Look, people are complaining about the youth academy. It's complicated. Whether BAP decided or not, it's fine. As club president, he gives orders and employees follow. The boss, Valdine, is speaking. And another thing, huh? Only BAP is guaranteed to stay at the club for the next 3 years. You can complain, you can say whatever you want, but it's BAP who's there because the members voted. So he's the one who's there, my friend. He's the one who's there. The others might leave before. We don't know what could happen, but BAP stays, right? At least if everything goes normally. A president, he stays, okay, right? So the fan is saying, of course, man, Flamengo's jersey is the 6-time champion, the Flachonero, exactly the coaches. The president leaves and Flamengo continues, but here the president stays a bit longer, right? Yeah, guys, no drama, everyone. That's it, man. But the crowd is out in full force, backing Flamengo's choice to field the professional team against Vasco today. It's the right call and had to be done. So, to wrap up this important news here, according to journalist Raiza Simplicio, okay? Flamengo has shown interest in signing Danilo from Botafogo. Look at that. Danilo from Botafogo. There's a possibility of Flamengo signing him. A general exodus at Botafogo. A crisis at Botafogo, right? Textor's situation has even affected the club in Belgium as well. Textor is having problems. There's a transfer ban in Belgium too. So things are getting worse and worse for Textor and for Botafogo. The transfer ban could be lifted anytime. Today, in 10 minutes, an hour, or 3 hours. But it's already tainted and a lot of players are leaving. Players are being introduced, but they can't sign contracts because of the transfer ban, right? So Raiza said that Flamengo showed interest in the signing of Danilo from Botafogo. Flamengo is keeping an eye on the situation of the midfielder from the black and white team and is considering making an offer. All right, then, that's important news regarding the transfer market from yesterday's meeting. Just to wrap things up here. Yesterday's meeting at Ninho do Urubu was basically not to make the decision about who would play against Vasco. Yesterday's meeting at Ninho do Urubu, it was mainly about signings, to decide on Michael's departure, the departure of some other players' signings, right? To evaluate Danilo's situation, to assess other possible signings, and on top of that, to finalize the offer for Lucas Paquetá, who went to West Ham today, and they received it yesterday, right? They received it today due to the time zone difference. The main purpose of the meeting was this, along with the Carioca Championship. But there's no crisis, no bad atmosphere like people have been saying. It's just a different situation. Just to bring you the probable Flamengo lineup, are they in second place today? The main media outlets in Brazil are listing Rossi, Varela, Leo Ortiz, Leo Pereira, and Ayrton Lucas or Alexandro, with Pulgar, Jorginho, and Arrascaeta. I think, look, okay, I'm not going to say it for sure, but for me, it's Pulgar. Everton, Araújo, Luiz Araújo instead of Arrascaeta or Carrascal. Luiz Araújo will be on one wing, Samuel Lino on the other, and either Pedro or Bruno Henrique in attack. Flamengo will use them depending on Valeria, but I doubt they'll start immediately with Arrascaeta and Jorginho. You didn't see it, guys. I can't believe it. Let's see what happens. There's a squad, right? Some players with less playtime in 2025 could become starters. We'll find out the lineup an hour before the game when it's released. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video. Thanks for your support. Red Black greetings. This is Flamengo, all right?